welcome back to the rebuild, guys. Today I'm going to be showing you how to install your connecting rods and your pistons into the block, and I'll also be showing you how to use a micrometer and a dial bore gauge so you can get a more precise measurement on your clearances. And then after that, we'll be going through and I'll be showing you how to install an oil pump on one of these motors with a girdle, because it gets a little more tricky than just bolting it on. This is my carburetor I got. I prefer the mechanical one over the digital one, but that's just me. It's a 2 to 3 inch. Goes to the fourth zero past the decimal point. And when you're measuring your crank here, you kind of just want to make sure that you're getting on it center, getting on it straight, and you're going to use this top part right here to turn it, because if you turn it by this part, it can like push the gears closer together and get it out of calibration, so then your measurement won't be right. And then you kind of just want to look for making sure you're getting like the both amount of gap on both sides of the part that touches the crank right here. Make sure you're straight. And then after you think you got a good measurement, turn the lock down, slip it off. And that's what we're left with now. So we got our micrometer, guys. And I like to hang it off the table like this just because it makes it nice and easy for putting the dial bore gauge in the end of it here. The dial bore gauge has different pieces for depending on how big you're measuring, obviously. We are at 2.4, so I grabbed the 2.4 and I put that in our dial bore gauge. And then since we are 2.46, there's these little washers right here that you add on to the ends of them right here. Just slide these over here and it pushes that out just a little bit further. I put the 8 in there so that we will be able to measure our 6. Now, I got it all screwed in here, nice and tight, and they're snug. What you're going to do is you're going to take it, push that side in, and then kind of put it in here. I like to try to bring it towards the top middle, just so I kind of have an idea of where I'm going to be. And then you just kind of move it around a little bit until you can get your gauge set right at 0. You're just going to keep moving it back and see how far your needle moves. And then you will stop it right there and hold it. And then you can measure your connecting rods. So you can see I get longer here, goes away from 0. I bring it right back here, it gets to 0, and then starts going back the other way. So I already got it all set and everything. Now we're ready to check the connecting rods. So we'll take our dial bore gauge here. This part right here is spring loaded. So you take that, push it up right there. Bring it into the middle there. Those are little wheels on there, so it rolls nice and easy. And then you're just going to move this back and forth until you get it up to the highest measurement. So right there, we're coming away. So we're getting too long. Bring it back this way. We get right up to the right up to about 25, 24 from over here. Well, 2.4 or 2.4, I guess. So yeah, right there is going to be our shortest point. So all these little ticks are like smaller than 1/1000th of an inch. So each one of these, like 9, 8, those are going to be each 1/1000th. So we come over here, that's 1/1000th, 2/1000ths, and then we make it up about 1/4 of 1/1000th. So that will put us at about 24/1000ths, which is good for a connecting rod. I went through and I checked them all, and we got them all around from there to 30, so they're all within good specs. All right, guys, got all of our clearances measured and everything. We're ready to pop the pistons down into the block. I already got number 1 in, just kind of went through and made sure everything was good and everything, and kind of got it all figured out. And we'll start popping them in. So you want to make sure that you go in here and you get your cylinders all wiped out before you go down and put the piston in there. And then, all right, I guess we just throw that over there. Take your oil. This is just a bottle of oil. Just like to squirt it in there, get the cylinder all lubed up before I put my piston down in there, so there's a little something for it. I do not recommend using one of these things. Yeah, it's cheap and it works, but it's not worth it. I kept almost messing up the piston rings with it. Just go out and buy one of these. It's the right size. It makes it so much easier. Just a lot less chance of messing it all up. I'm making a video. Right before you slide them in, you want to make sure that the top of those circles are pointing up towards like the valley of the motor. That's the way that your valve release will go on these. Just make sure you got that set firmly against there. Make sure your connecting rod is nice and straight. And push it right in. We're going to go through and do the rest of them now. And try to put it on. Start sliding it down in. hits right here on that stud. So when you have these girdles or studs like that, what you gotta do is you gotta come in, you gotta grind this little part off right here. So let's get started with that. So it's still hitting right here a little bit, and it looks like it's going to hit up on top a little bit still. So we'll go take that off now. I went a little too far and I made a hole. So guys, this is kind of one of the things where you learn hard. Wasn't supposed to take so much off of this side. Kind of put a hole in there. Turns out I was supposed to take off of this side, which I was kind of surprised that they have you take so much off of here, because apparently on these 460s they like to break the oil pump right here when you start spinning it at the higher RPM. And I mean, you usually put the girdles on when you start doing that kind of stuff. So I was surprised that you had to do that. I mean, maybe there's some other way, better oil pump or something. Nothing that I know of. When I called the company, they just said you're just supposed to grind off the oil pump. So that's what I did, but we're gonna have to order a new one, and I won't grind off so much off this side. Have to do the same on this side. But what I did to make sure she fits, I just got her set down flat on here and then pulled it up against the girdle and got it to where I could see the bolt was enough. But guess we'll have to order a new one now. Well, got the new oil pump in, guys. You see right here, I went ahead and I got this one ground all down so we can use it as a template for this one, except for this part right here. So then, yeah, let's go get it all ground down. Got our pump all clearanced here, all notched out everywhere. Got this all notched out without putting a hole in it this time. Now we're just going to Loctite our bolts and then put them in there. The book says 22 to 32 foot-pounds on this. Alright guys, that's going to wrap it up for today's video. Next time you see us, we'll be starting to put in the camshaft and getting our valve train all put together and start getting ready to put the heads on. So, thanks for watching.